Hello, everybody. Fantastic to be in Mumbai by so many talented designers and people within the industry. I'm honored to be here. I wanted to be here also yesterday, but for different reasons I couldn't be here. So I'm here today. As you just heard, my name is Lundstrom, and I work for IKEA here in India. I have worked many years with different parts, but always on the creative side in terms of marketing and product development, design, etc. And now I'm here in India, and I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about our idea about making things better, and we call it democratic design. Democratic design is something that really has been a fantastic tool for us when developing product range. We created a little book, 1995, in connection with the Milano Fair in Europe, where we introduced the idea of the democratic design. It is helping us in all the aspects in developing really good products, and I will now try to explain a little bit how we go about that. Yeah, here we see some fun, great collaborations, which we had with Magistretti, with Pantone, and with Nils Gammelgård, as just a few examples. This is a few years ago now. The Magistretti we did in 1970. Here you also have some, the resolution isn't that great, but there is a pine chair, very famous chair with a lot of IKEA identity called Emil, and table hatten, our Maskros lamp that we got an award for, or many of these things we have gotten awards for actually. Some more examples of democratic design and products that we are very proud of. So democratic design in many aspects manifests our business idea. And for those who are well acquainted and known with our concept, this is why we go to work every morning. We shall offer a wide range of well-designed, functional home furnishing products at prices so low so that as many people as possible will be able to afford them. So the democratic design operates in every part of our concept. The IKEA concept aims to make the distance between the supplier and the consumer as short as possible by combining the possibilities of the supplier with the needs of the customer. We also have an expression for this within IKEA, that the more design, the more development we do at the factory floor, the better we are. Because that's where the ideas appears, and it is when we can collaborate together and really finding sort of the best potential of all sides. But designing on the factory floor is something that we take as something very good and something to be proud of. So democratic design comes from what we believe in, that everybody has the right to a better everyday life. So democratic design is nothing new, as I just said, since 95. It's the way we make things at IKEA. But we just don't make things. And I would say that very many companies just make things. We are making things better. And making things better through IKEA design means doing 5 things better. So the first dimension is called form. It has, of course, very much with the attraction of the product to do. It is the first thing that you meet in terms of color, shape, etc., and probably where you decide whether you like the form or not. But we have definitely an ambition, and that is to make, not maybe only in the world, but at least all the homes in the world more beautiful. The second one, function. I think that if form would be the only thing that existed, that wouldn't be interesting. It's very, very many times function is maybe what is, I would say personally, the strongest part of our DNA. When things doesn't work, it's quite useless. And for some reason, it doesn't become very attractive either. Actually, a friend of mine, a designer working at IKEA, said to me once, I wonder if it isn't so that form and function is really the same thing. And I said, what do you mean? Well, when something that works really, really well and are extremely functional, it is often beautiful. And I agree 100% with that. But we still have the form and the function as separate drivers for democratic design. The third one is quality, to make everything last longer and age gracefully. And of course it has come to our attention that sustainability is also something that, which is a dimension of democratic design, but it is also very, very closely related to quality. Because when something is more durable and something is more, as we're stating here, ages gracefully, then of course we are more sustainable in our way of making things and making things better. We have, for the first time, we have been operating in Asia for quite some years. But now with the entering of India, we have suddenly turned around our whole industry in making things much, much more durable with the weather conditions, with the humidity, with the moist, with the dust, etc., of our key family programs, especially within flatline and wood. And this is quite revolutionary, actually, that we will open up a store in Hyderabad in a year from now, roughly, with a complete new treatment, material, etc., on our key families. And of course, the whole Asia is clapping their hands and are being extremely thankful because they have been fighting for so many years to make all the designers and product developers up north more aware about the tough weather conditions that are here in Asia. And I don't really know why, but it has been taking so long time for us to realize that we really have to do something, because we cannot open up a range and a store and talking about an everyday life, a better everyday life, if we don't work further on the quality and the durability of things here for Asia. So that's happening, and I'm very proud to be able to say that. Sustainability I mentioned, but that is also, of course, taking responsibility of the people and the planet. And it's not only about making things better in the industry, but it is also about making things better at home, so that you can save energy and that you can live a more sustainable life at home with the things that you buy at IKEA. Yeah, the low price is no secret. It's something that is, of course, extremely important in the context of democratic design. If you can't afford it, if we can't make good design and good products that makes everyday life better, if you can't afford it, it's not really any sense of doing it at all. We like to have a much better base and a much better accessibility to beautiful things that works well and are sustainable. And therefore we work every minute, every second to try to really make it accessible for people and working hard on the price. We are working hard now with pricing our range to enter India and to open up the first store. And it is a little bit of a tough climate to go out in the industry or in the retail world to try to find out what things cost, because a lot of things are also custom made. It's made in smaller companies, and it's very hard for us to know exactly what a chair in a certain material should cost. So we have to do our homework, and we're doing that, of course, together with a lot of clever people here in India, so that we really get the price right when we first start. We can be better in many ways. It's easy to say democratic design, and we say that we do. Make things better through that, but we also need some principle guidelines when we do the democratic design. It's not enough with the 5 principles, but we also like to work to set the expectations around exceed, and or rather around the part that you just expect, things that we can exceed, and also how we can make people excited. We believe in including and co-creating the power of the many, creating meaning and value, being open and accessible. And we have, as I mentioned a couple of slides ago, decided to work around the expect, exceed, and excite. The first one, expect. Solutions fulfilling existing expectations, creating basic conditions for improving the everyday life at home. And here you see an example of an old historical wash bin or basin, just to give an example, to make an icon of that. The exceed part is the solutions that stretch the limits and exceed the expectations, and make sort of the ideas what is accessible. The excite, that is a solution that excites us, changing our behavior and altering forever what we perceive as expectations and what exceeds them. So these are the 3 principles. Just to repeat them, that expect is about today, improving existing solutions. Exceed is about solution that makes IKEA develop and improves life at home. Excite is about how we together, people and IKEA, make solutions that change behaviors to improve the world. So why go for excite? It's just the way we are, breathtakingly ourselves. Our identity is expressed through our curiosity, ambition, and our ability to engage and co-create with the many people in order to innovate. Innovate becomes more and more important from so many aspects. And in able to do that, we really feel that we should go for excite. So the expect, exceed, and excite makes democratic design. And to just talk about sort of to show them again around how expect, exceed, and excite always sort of fits together with form. It is to fight conformity and make the world more beautiful for the many different people. It is also from bringing beauty to places that rarely have seen it, like India. This is a picture from the moon. This is not a picture from India. To finding beauty in everyday life and doing things that are clearly IKEA and accessible to everyone. Function. Co-create with the many to really make everyday life easier and more meaningful. I have, during my year and a half here in India, been visiting about 200 homes in all kinds of cities, the mega cities in focus with Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. I have interviewed a lot of families. I have talked to kids, I've talked to teenagers, to grandmothers, and we're sitting on a fantastic documentation and a fantastic insight about life at home in India. So we really hope that we will be able to co-create with people here in India to get smarter and to get better about the life here and try to understand people even better. So from everyday things like making it easier to find the shoes, to questioning ideals and conventions, celebrating all the small moments that matter and make them work even better. Making it better for the many, not for the few. This is important. We are not for the few. Quality. Make things that last longer and that ages gracefully and that stand the test of time and that really are things that are valuable in the time we live in, that are contemporary. Things that create just that right everyday experience. And then sustainability, from creating sustainable sourcing, energy consumption, and infrastructure for distribution. Taking responsibility to have an improving impact on people and the planet. To help people recycle in a good way, to live a more sustainable life at home. And then the low price. Being innovative and really smart to make things truly affordable, accessible, and free. At IKEA, everything is included in the low price. Form, function, quality, and sustainability. Everyone is included, regardless of the size of your wallet or home. So are we there? Just thinking also about this with the size of your wallet and the size of your home. We know that we are challenging some big, what shall I say, we're having in the company today here in India big discussions over where our core customer really sits. We're talking about income levels, we're talking about size of living, etc. And we realize the more we discuss it, the more narrow-minded we become. And we have just, in the recent days, decided that to really include the many people, we need to be a little bit braver in looking into the lower income level of people. We know still that a lot of people are striving hard to make it work at home. And we need to include these people. We cannot only look at the middle class and the It's so easy to just look at the middle class and the enormous growth that is in there. And we know that these people will come to us. But how do we make the people with less money feeling welcome to this big, strange blue and yellow box with all these fantastic products? How do we not make them not feel welcome? We have to include them, and we have to continuously work with affordability as one of our main drivers for this country. It is so important. And also knowing that Mumbai has an extremely high high prices on living. And how do we then really make sure when we get here to Mumbai, which will be the second store, how do we make sure that we illustrate solutions and multifunctional products and living space that are relevant to how you live here in Mumbai? So are we there? No, we're not there. So what does it take? We always want to ask ourselves, why not? What if? Being super curious. And we say that most things still remain to be done. This is also important to have in our mindset when we go to work in the morning. It's not just about sort of fixing the everyday life for people. It is really to understand that we are just beginning. We're going to open a lot more stores, and we really like to have that mindset that we think that a lot of things still remains to be done. Isn't that really exciting? I think it is. I worked for IKEA for so many years, and I still think it is so exciting. And meeting this country, taking this job to come to this fantastic country, very many times very difficult. My second day in Gurgaon at the office, we had an earthquake. A couple of days later, a girlfriend of mine was sick in dengue. The third day, I think, my mother got sick back home in Sweden. It's very tough to be far away. But, on the other hand, as inspired I am of all these people I meet every day, if it's home visits, or it's on the factory floor, or it is just with future customers, it really is worth it, I tell you. I'm super excited. So now we think that maybe the next step would be to talk about not only the democratic design, but to talk about the democratic home. Because, of course, we need to put all these well-designed products in a context. And how do we learn to know the home even more and start talking about the democratic home? That also have 5 dimensions, you can say. It's about sort of the durability, it's about the form or the beauty. It is absolutely about sort of having an affordable home and being able to afford things in your home that already cost money, that are affordable. So we like to continue our journey to talk about the democratic home, and we are exploring this as I speak. And I will go home back today to the office and continue working with the Better Everyday Life, both from a democratic design but also from a democratic home perspective, because I believe very strongly in the two. I'm going to round off with a film, just a short little inspiration film.
A home is like a place where you can, it's जहाँ पे पैर ऊपर रख सकते हैं. You know what I mean?
It is a cocoon where you are inside, but it's a very free space. You know, it's somewhere where I'm just completely free to do what I like.
Where you can curl up, watch TV for 4 hours, not get up, and still feel so comfortable.
No matter how long you've been away, you can always walk in and be back home. Like you feel at home. It's where the heart is.
मकान जो है वो बेजुबान चीज़ों से बनता है, दीवारों से, फ्रिज, टीवी, टेबल इन चीज़ों से बनता है. लेकिन घर जो है एक परिवार से बनता है.
Home is where every corner speaks of the people living in it. You know, every aspect, every furniture, every curtain should speak of.
A home then, in my days, meant looking after the needs of your family, the children, the husband.
People just crash in anytime. So it just, once they come in, it just becomes like, for them as well, it becomes a part of their home. So.
Where you can like be comfortable enough to lick the floor.
And where the Wi-Fi connects automatically.
Buzo is waiting for me. So he's the one who figures out somehow that I'm there.
Things that I think make a home are a bed,
My guitar and my swing.
A rug, a plant, and some art.
My skates, my books.
My home has evolved over the last 60 years.
Dream home, cut to beach. Beautiful French bay window, like those big ones.
वो मेरे को मिल गया. इस सबसे बढ़िया घर है और सबसे बढ़िया शांति मिलती है.
It's an old brick house.
I had a dream home. It was a house with a small driveway where we could park the car.
I'm imagining like a house covered in glass, perched on a cliff.
Tiles, chat.
Cabin in the woods.
With a huge garden, maybe even my own little farm where I'm growing a lot of tiny little vegetables and things.
Swimming pool.
I think people are a little bit more experimental now. I think they're ready to own what they like.
वो एक पैलेस जैसा होगा and उसकी दीवारें गोल्डन होंगी और चमकीली होंगी.
Big ass windows and grand piano.
spacious for the kids.
Playground.
Big home where I can have a bar.
Basement which has a swimming pool in the basement. Like instead of a shark, you've got a person swimming.
मुझे पानी का घर चाहिए.
This is a house if all of us are not here. The minute my family comes in, it becomes my home.
मेरा सपने का घर ताजमहल जैसा होगा और उसके अंदर ना बहुत बड़ा सा बेड रहेगा.
I just want to underline also the fact that no matter what we get inspired of, and we travel all over the world, or we go to fairs and we meet colleagues and we inspire each other, we do a little bit of that as well. But what really, really, truly inspires us in our work, that's to find out what this home means for people. It is to visit people's homes. That is our true inspiration for making better products and to build the brand for the future. Thank you very, very much. I have about 2 or 3 minutes for the questions before the next speaker have to step up. Yes?
That was a wonderful talk, ma'am. So I have a question regarding your 5 dimensions that you were talking about. Where does simplicity actually fit in the 5 dimensions? See, you've spoken about form, function, quality, sustainability, and low price. So I'm just wondering, simplicity, where does it fit in?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, actually. One of the cornerstones in our concept, written by Ingvar Kamprad, it's that simplicity is a virtue. So simplicity we have in form, we have it in sustainability, we have it in the low price, we have it everywhere. So I think simplicity goes like a red thread through everything we do. So it is a very, very important question and an important driver for us to not only simplify sort of things in a negative sense, but to see the beauty in working in a simple way. So that's absolutely there. Any other question? Yeah? You get a mic? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman in the back also, but that's okay.
Yeah, thanks. You've talked about, IKEA is obviously synonymous with global design, but also, Swedish.
Mm-hmm.
And in India, you've talked about how you've adapted to make it more durable. But I was wondering also other aspects of Indian design, will they be reflected in the store? Do you look at this as a global design store coming to India or something that is quite also indigenous? How do you see the offering?
If I understand your question, I think that there is something that I'm very, very occupied with, and that is building a little bit on the previous question here with simplicity, is that I'm a big believer in that things at home is very, very similar in your home and in my home. It might look a little bit different. We might have different sort of traditions and so on, but the way things have to work when you enter the hallway or when you step into the kitchen or when you're setting up a dinner table and suddenly there is 4 unexpected guests, and where was those extra chairs, or how do you find the right pair of underwear in the morning, etc. All these things are so the same. So we will not have a specific range for India. We will have a 3-4% adapted things as such. But so from the design concept and from our way of working, it's 95% the same all over the world. Is that a good answer? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you had a question.
So I think you partially answered my question, but still I want to ask you is, I have been a user of IKEA products for last 8 years in USA and Germany. But what I observed is products used in Europe and North America, for example, a chair used there is not the same as used in India, the same chair. So again, my same question to you is, are the products being looked for redesigning for India, or it's the exact same products or fine-tuned for India?
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's absolutely fine-tuned, as I said. But we have, we have the same bottoms. We have the same sort of basic physics. So we believe that a chair that works good for a North American works also good for an Indian person. Then I think that we need to adapt a little bit the way we present the range, the way we communicate the range, the way we price the range, etc. But we have a very strong belief that the everyday is very similar across the world. But of course we need to continuously find out more about how people live their lives. But you also see how fast life is changing and how people will demand sort of new and better things in many aspects, not only from IKEA. But it's about health, it's about sustainability, it's about many concerns that we have today. And we have just said now that we have a speed project that has the top attention, and that is how can we make an affordable world-class air purifier, just as an example. How can we show that we understand that the air in Delhi for the moment is unbreathable? It's unbreathable, and it's It's a big concern. So how can we, by living in the times we live in, adapt further in our product design and in our functionality? Yeah?
Hi. You explained the first part of my question, which was the Indianization of design. The second is, I've actually owned IKEA furniture when I was studying abroad, but I've gone through the whole DIY process that IKEA follows. But if you look at Indian culture as such, DIY is not something people are very comfortable with. IKEA is able to keep its prices low because they don't have to actually assemble everything. How do you think that whole concept or business model is going to change in the Indian context?
Hi.